We'd like to welcome each and every individual to Voices of Integrity for Legacy Partners Action Vision. And it's actually in the servicing area that we're going to be visiting today. But I think to understand the servicing, it might be good to understand the Action Vision story. Um, the Action Vision story starts back 41 years ago when I was 19 years old, actually. And so I was engaged to be married, and my mom went ahead and said to me, she kind of pulled me aside and said, "Mark, I'm concerned for you when you get married." I said, "Okay." And she said, "You have very strong work ethic on both sides of the family." So my mom was really hard work. My dad's family, very, raised a farmer. And so, very hard work ethic, both sides of the family. I said, "Okay." She said, "You're like on steroids, Mark." I don't know what gave her that idea. Maybe the 2 full-time jobs when I was in high school and the 4 part-time jobs. I mean, I was a working machine. And she said, "I'm concerned that you're going to be a workaholic, Mark, and not spend time with your wife and kids." And I said, "Okay." She said, "I just want you to remember something. I've never seen anybody on their deathbed that said wish they spent more time with their family." Again, this is a 19-year-old boy. And I said, "Okay, Mom, I have a question for you." She's like, "Okay." And he said, and I said, "So have you ever met somebody on their deathbed, Mom, that, seen somebody on their deathbed that said they wish they spent enough time with their family?" And she's like, "Well, no." I said, "So what you're telling me, I think, Mom, is that no matter how much time I spend with my family, it's never going to be enough." And she looks at me and she just kind of shakes her head. She's like, "That's not what I was trying to tell you." I'm like, and so at the age of 19, um, I set out to have a life of intention. Now, I was pretty intentional before then. So I knew I wanted to get married when I was 8 years old. I thought, man, it'd be cool to have a wife. I went ahead and then I went ahead and said, when I became a teenager, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to 1 year of Bible college to find a wife. And so I don't really need to do this dating. I mean, I did a little dating, just enough to have my heart broken, but not a lot. I'm like, maybe after I got my heart broken, I don't think I dated after that. I just worked. I just worked until I went to Bible college. And so I worked, I worked from, just did a ton of work. And so I was saving up for a house when I was in high school. Um, And so, that's what I did. And then, so got married, and my wife and I were in college together. So we were both in college. And so we worked our way through college. She got her elementary education degree. I got 3 business degrees, one in finance, one in management, and then one in marketing. And so, and then we took I had 6 job offers coming out of college. We decided to start a family right away. Um, and so she was actually 3 months pregnant when she did her elementary education degree internship. They told her, "You can't really do an internship because you're pregnant." I said, "She's not stopping. You aren't going to stop her." So she's the first one that, graduated in her family from high school. And so, that was pretty important for us, for both of us, for her to get through. And so we went ahead and, got married, and then we went through college and then graduated, and I had 6 job offers coming out of college. And the only job I knew I didn't want to do for sure was sales. I didn't like salespeople. Didn't like them, and, knew I wouldn't be good at sales. So I love people. I just don't like them. I don't like people. I love them. I just don't like people. They irritate them. Live in daylight. That's not good. That's not good to have that kind of an attitude if you're in sales, that you don't like being around salespeople. And I don't like selling things. And so what did I do? I took 100% straight commission position right out of college. And and I went with a little tiny company. It's a mortgage company, so I was a loan officer, and they gave 2 days of training, and they said, go sell. And I covered a very wealthy area in the Chicagoland area. It was Oak Brook and Hinsdale. So, vacant lots were between 250 and $400,000 for a little lot, a little like quarter acre or 1/5 of an acre lot. So I knew I'd be really successful. I wasn't. I did everything they told me to do and nothing worked. I was making $1 an hour. I mean, I was getting destroyed. We did buy a house, right after we graduated. It was actually the first mortgage I did. Um, and so we bought a house, and, Rosanna, after 3 months in business, she was 6 months pregnant. And I'm just like, I'm dying here. 3 of those job offers went ahead and came back, and 3 out of 6 said, Mark, you're perfect. Your personality, your experience. I had a good looking resume. I don't know if I was that, but I did. I had like 7 years of management experience. I had started 3 of my own college, 3 of my own businesses in college. So the resume with the 3 degrees, it looked really good. So they said, Mark, you're everything we're looking for. And these were good jobs, good paying jobs, good benefits. I mean, company car. I mean, these were really good jobs. And I'm like, yeah, I'd rather, I'd rather die in the jungle than live in the zoo. And so, but when your wife is 6 months pregnant and you can't afford to put, curtains on your new house, you have to put bed sheets up literally because we couldn't afford the curtains. Um, and when you're doing that, you're like, I don't know, this is not working the way it's supposed to be working. I made more, I made more money mowing lawns in high school than I did when with the job, with the mortgage. And so went in the president's office and I pounded on his desk and I said, Tony, I'm doing everything you guys are telling me to do and nothing's working. And he's like, well, it takes 12 to 18 months to see success. I said, I don't have 12 to 18 months. And they didn't tell me that up front. And I didn't have time to whine about it or complain about it. I didn't have time to bellyache. I didn't want to go out and take one of those other jobs. And I'm like, Mark, you've never failed at anything you've ever done in your life. You're not going to start now. So I said, well, I don't have 12 to 18 months. My wife is 6 months pregnant. I got a house. Like, I got to make this thing work. And he's like, well, what do you think you ought to do? And I said, well, I think I ought to do this, this, and this. He said, okay, well, go do it. I'm like, okay, I will. and and so I did that and came up, I'm not smart. Like I'm an average, below average person. So I'm not smart. So I'm like, okay, and I'm not charming. I know you guys probably all think I'm charming. I'm not. I'm not charming. I'm not smart. I didn't have like any capability to sell at all. I mean, it was just crazy. So I said, well, what are you good at, Mark? And I said, well, I'm good at studying smart people, people that are successful. So I studied them and I went to an event. I came up with what was called an open house sales key and I programmed that. Fortunately for me, I'd started a number of my own companies while I was in college. One of them was a computer company. And so I had more computing power than the whole company had. And so I started developing systems and tools that would differentiate. This was just sheer desperation. It was not brilliant. I mean, I'm drowning. I'm like, I love what I'm doing, not the selling part, but I love the mortgage part and all the other part. Didn't like the selling. And then I had to develop relationships with realtors. Oh, my goodness. So I was a young male, so I could feel the judgment. Like I could feel, I'd go out and talk to a realtor and they're in their like 50s and, 50s and 60s. And they didn't like young males because young males, they profiled me. Those, man, that's not fair. But they profiled me and they said he's dumb and irresponsible. So if you're a young male, that's what people are going to think of you, especially women. You're dumb and irresponsible. So anyways, there's a lot more to the story. We might have an extended version because when I think back, 35 plus years, I'm just so blessed. Like I'm just thankful I survived. Because when I look back, I should not have. So, anyways, I came up with it took me a month to come up with the first system tool, went out there and accomplished more in a week than I had in 4 months. 6 months after I joined the company, I was promoted to a regional manager. So I started hiring, recruiting, developing, people. And then I went ahead but I was still doing straight commission. I didn't get paid. I just didn't get paid anything extra. I just developing people, and then I'd get something on there, over that. 6 months after that, I was promoted to a marketing manager. And then a year and a half after that, I was offered a position as vice president of sales with an equity position in the company. When I got out of college, I had a goal of being in six-figure income, making over $100,000 a year, an executive in the company within 7 years. I was able to do that within a year and a half. And this was, 35, plus years ago. And we took that company from one of the smallest to one of the largest mortgage companies in the Midwest, one of the smallest in Illinois to one of the largest in the Midwest. Grew it from 4 loan officers to 28 loan officers, and we were a machine. I mean, it was unbelievable. Anyways, I left that company to start Synergy Solutions, and our first product was the Medallion Marketing Series, which was software that analyzes mortgage. So I took what I learned in the mortgage industry, brought it over in, and we're really selling just that software product, and we were just selling that in a marketing system. And it wasn't going great. I mean, we had some sales, but it wasn't going great. And so, I don't know, about 15 months into it, 16 months into it, we were drowning. It wasn't like, it was terrible. And I did something that I'm like, this is not a smart thing to do, but I rented out, a hotel conference room, like a training room, and 7 of us got together in the company, and the company was dying. I mean, it was like, it's not gonna work. Like, but I'm gonna do a Hail Mary. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna so we go there, and I'm thinking we need goals and we need systems. We need to do it. We had computer programmers and designers and salespeople and different types. And I said, I need one system that will work with anybody. Doesn't matter if they're brand new or if they're really experienced. I need a system. So on a napkin, literally, I jotted down ActionVISION. And so that was ActionVISION. And then and it worked. It started working. I'm like, wow, this is actually starting to work. And we had other products at the time too, but ActionVISION started to work within our own company. And one of our biggest client went ahead and said, you guys have an amazing team. Like, it's crazy. Like, you guys are so good at what you do. Why is that? I'm like, well, we kind of created this system. It's called ActionVISION. And I started to see, I said, I bet you this product has some zip. I think we could actually turn this into a product and actually make money on it. And I don't know if I'm going to cry. I might. And he said, I want it. I said, well, it's not really for sale. He said, it is for me. I'm like, I don't know what to charge for it. He says, come up with a price. Let me know. Over the next year and a half, that company, Midwest Mortgage Services, they went ahead and invested over $250,000 into ActionVISION before ActionVISION was anything. And that product, supported my family and Synergy, for all these years. And it was a napkin out of desperation and what it does. And so ActionVISION, it not only worked for business-wise, but it went ahead, and Roseanne and I had a plan, a family. So I had an ActionVISION plan for business, and then I had an ActionVISION plan for our marriage and family. By then we had 3 kids. And then there was an ActionVISION plan for Life Masters Institute too. So I had 3 of them. I don't recommend that. That kind of burned me out. Anyways, so the family one, it was interesting. Roseanne and I had it, and every month we'd get together and score the ActionVISION plan. It was so frustrating because I'm like, there's big checks, little checks, X's, and everything like that. And one day, so we did it with the pastor, Pastor Dale Williams. He and his wife would come over. We build a plan for them and their family too. And so it helped like everything. Like it's why Rosanna and I went ahead and had date nights and long weekends when we had a bunch of little kids. It's why Ginger Ann, when she was like, 5 years old, she and I went on a date. It's why I dated my kids. It's why we took vacations. It helped me because I do love business, but it helped me to navigate and keep balanced in every area of life. And it went back to age of 19. My mom died, I think it was 7, 8 years ago. And she said, Mark, I'm really proud of you. Like you're not a workaholic. Like you spend so much time with your wife and kids. And so like Action Vision, it's not just a business plan to help business people make more money. I mean that, or to have more time. It helps them to do whatever God put them on this planet to do. It helps a person become who God created them to be. I mean, it's amazing what it does and the accuracy of it and how it helps you to think in a way that helps you to go ahead and do everything. And if you're the type of person that has a lot on your heart, like my life vision is to touch every single person in the world, one person at a time, make a huge difference in every area of their life in a fun, exciting way. So we've had moms on Action Vision and kids on Action Vision. We put our own children on Action Vision when they were young. Ginger Ann, when she was just a little girl, she had her own Action Vision plan. And so it's an amazing, it's an amazing product. It's an amazing system. It's life transforming. Individuals that go on Action Vision, business people that go on Action Vision, is individuals will see a 30 to 35% increase in work productivity within 30 to 60 days. We have over 95% of the people who go on Action Vision who will follow through. And the accuracy is so accurate that on, some are more, some are less, but on average, if you do 90% of the plan, you get 94% of results. If you do 50% of the plan, you get 54% of results. If you do 10% of the plan, you get 14% of results. So it's literally mathematics. I mean, it's going through it. When we did the research years ago, it was so accurate and I didn't know why. It's a positive 4% accuracy. And it took us 7 years to figure out why it was so accurate. I mean, Tom Kuntz, who's the past president of Century 21, largest real estate franchise in the world, he said he's seen every goal setting, any coaching program. And we've been doing coaching before it was, everybody, their brother and sister. So we've been doing it forever. And Synergy and the Action Vision, it's actually not a coaching system. It's actually architectural. Like we're a design architect firm. So we design and architect was called the boss system. The business operating system is the engine that runs our business. We earn the money we earn, work the hours we work, have the stress we do or don't have. And so it's built like it's crazy. Like it's absolutely amazing on what it will do for people. And so when we understand, I mean, I love business and I love helping business people. So they're stuck. They're stuck. Albert Einstein said you can never solve a problem on the level it's created. What does it mean? It means we create our own problems based on how we think. Action Vision helps people to get unstuck. And it can be used in any industry at any level within any industry, anywhere in the world. It doesn't matter what kind of business it is. So Tom Kuhn said, I've traveled literally the whole world. He said, I've never seen anything like it. Peter Miles, past board member of BMW, past president of Royce. He said, Mark, he said, what you're doing here, the Fortune 100 executives, so the top 100 companies in the country, in the US, he said, none of them would understand what you're doing. It's so advanced. Now, that's good and bad, right? But the business owner, the entrepreneur, they understand. They see the 530 grid and they're like, whoa, what's going on here? So hopefully that gives you a little history. We might have more than one. There's so many stories over the years of how it has transformed people's businesses and people's lives. And when you're selling Action Vision or when you're servicing Action Vision, when you understand what it can do, it just makes it a lot more fun. Like you're not selling a product or service. Literally, you can save somebody's marriage. Literally, you can help somebody with their kids and all aspects of their life. So hopefully this has been beneficial to you. Make sure you manage up and out. You share, what does this mean to you? With your art mentor. And if you have two art buddies, share it with them, share it with other people. And always remember, we can accomplish so much more together than we ever could on our own. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.